that gases move from a region of high partial pressure to low partial pressure. Okay, अभी gases इसमें हैं alveoli में there is oxygen and carbon dioxide with their partial pressure as 104 and 40. Now tissues say veins they collect all the deoxygenated blood without much of oxygen which has been already used up by the tissues, and they take it through the vena cava into the right side of the heart. Right side of the heart से pulmonary artery से pump होकर, we learn all of this in circulatory system, so don't bother right now, but still it's good if you know. It goes towards the lungs. Now deoxygenated blood में the partial pressure of oxygen will be 40 and that of carbon dioxide will be 45. तो since इसमें कम ऑक्सीजन का partial pressure है, alveoli से ऑक्सीजन diffuses into the capillary and इधर capillary से carbon dioxide diffuses into alveoli and it's sent out of the body. वैसे ही when now this blood is purified and it has become oxygenated, मतलब oxygen आ गया. Now this has to go to the other parts of the body. So it's taken through the pulmonary vein to the left side of the heart. Left side of the heart से aorta से pump होकर, this oxygenated blood has partial pressure of O2 as 95 and that of CO2 as 40. तो ये tissues की तरफ जाता है. So oxygenated blood has 95 and 40 of O2 and CO2 respectively. Now tissues में the carbon dioxide comes out because tissues में carbon dioxide का partial pressure है 45 and you know कि oxygenated blood में 40 है. So 45 से 40 में जाता है higher to lower and oxygen gets into the tissues because tissues में oxygen का partial pressure है 40. So 95 से 40 में जाता है. So that's how the body tissues get oxygen. So this is the entire cycle. You will see all the partial pressures. If you read this entire diagram and the partial pressures properly and remember the values, you'll easily get the entire mechanism of exchange of gases. Now, solubility of gases पे आते हैं. So it's been seen that carbon dioxide is about 20 to 25 times more soluble than oxygen. So it's diffused more easily. मतलब उसका rate is ज़्यादा. And the other factor that determines diffusion is the thickness of membrane. Now let us draw the membrane which is present here, मतलब alveoli में. Suppose this is the alveoli and this is the blood capillary. So now the gases have to face three layers in order to get diffused. So alveoli has a very thin squamous epithelium. So squamous epithelium is specifically very thin in order to facilitate diffusion. So the first layer will be the squamous epithelium of alveoli. And now alveoli के surface और capillary के surface के बीच में there is a basement substance. Okay, basement substance. That is the second layer gases have to go through. Now third layer is the endothelium of blood capillaries. So capillaries or blood vessels are usually lined by a layer known as endothelium. So gases have to face three layers. First is epithelium or squamous epithelium of capillaries. Second is the basement substance and the third one is the thin endothelium of the blood capillaries. So this is how the gases move from a region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration or lower partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So yeah, we're done with the second part or the second video, and the next video we'll be talking about the different methods by which oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported, also about the diseases and the neural coordination of respiratory system. So I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you so much for watching. Exchange of gases. Now you know that respiration mainly constitutes of 5 processes, out of which exchange of gases between different membranes plays an important role for cellular respiration. Now exchange of gases दो जगह होता है, एक between the alveoli and the blood capillaries and one between the tissues and blood capillaries. Okay, so I've represented this diagram which is already there in your NCERT, and this process, the exchange of gases, occurs by diffusion. And for diffusion, you know, diffusion is a process where substances move from a region of high concentration to low concentration. And respiration में क्या होता है? They move from a region of high partial pressure to low partial pressure. Partial pressure is a very simple concept. You don't have to go deep into it. It's just the pressure exerted by that particular gas in that particular organ For example, oxygen ka partial pressure is different in the atmosphere and is different in alveoli, etc. So gases move from a region of high partial pressure to low partial pressure, and they move across a membrane by the process of diffusion. Now the process of diffusion, uska rate depends on how thick the membrane is and how soluble the gases are. So let's get started with the partial pressure part. There is a table given in NCERT which talks about the different partial pressures of oxygen and carbon dioxide in various parts. The first one is in the atmosphere. Atmosphere mein carbon dioxide ka partial pressure is very low. It's about 0.3, and oxygen's partial pressure is 159 mm of Hg. So just assume the unit is millimeter of mercury. So yeah, and then when it enters the body, oxygen ka partial pressure in the alveoli, this is alveoli. God, I'm messing up my spellings. Okay, this is oxygen partial pressure, which is represented by PO2 and O2 as a subscript, and PCO2. This is about 104 mm of Hg, and this is about 40 mm of Hg. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So we were done with the mechanism of breathing and the anatomy of the respiratory system in the previous class, and today we'll be starting with respiratory volumes. Alright, we learnt about spirometer. Spirometer is this device which is used for measuring the various respiratory volumes, and in NCERT we have 9 of them, and out of which we'll just have to remember the amount or the volumes for 4 of them, and the others are just a combination of these first 4. So let's get started. First one is tidal volume. Tidal volume is the amount of air one person breathes in a normal inspiration. That is about 500 milliliter. Okay, and per minute you can say the tidal volume ka level will be 500 into 12, that is 6000 milliliter to 16, so 8000 milliliter. Since you know every minute our body takes in air about 12 to 16 times, so 6000 to 8000. Alright, the second one is inspiratory reserve volume. Now you've already respired the tidal volume of air. Now if the amount of air you can respire further after the tidal volume is the inspiratory reserve volume. So it is the extra amount of air you take in by a forcible inspiration. Similarly, expiratory reserve volume is the extra amount of air you can give out after a forcible expiration. So the values for inspiratory reserve volume are 2500 to 3000 milliliter, and expiratory reserve volume are 1100 to 1000 to 1100 milliliter. Now let's come to residual volume. Suppose you had a forcible expiration. Matlab this your entire you've removed almost how much ever you can to your complete potential, all the air from your lungs. So the amount of air left in your lungs is the residual volume, which is about 11,000 to 12,000 milliliter. So these are the 4 basic respiratory volumes which you have to remember along with the values. Now the other 5 are just a combination of all these. So let's come to inspiratory capacity. Inspiratory capacity is basically the total amount of air you can breathe in. So that is tidal volume. Obviously you'll breathe in by normal inspiration, plus inspiratory reserve volume is the extra air you can breathe in. So inspiratory capacity will just be tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. Similarly, expiratory capacity will be tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Now functional residual capacity. Functional residual capacity is, suppose you've done a forcible expiration. Suppose after a normal expiration, what is the amount of air which is left in your lungs? So that will include the extra amount of air which you could have given out but tumne diya nahi. That means the expiratory reserve volume plus the amount of air which will be present at all times, that is residual volume. So functional residual capacity will just be residual volume and expiratory reserve volume. Now vital capacity is maximum amount of air you can take in after a forced expiration, or maximum amount of air which you can give out after a forced inspiration. It's just a sum of the first 3 volumes, that is expiratory reserve volume, tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume. The last one, that is total lung capacity, is the entire capacity of your lung after a forced inspiration, and that will include all these four volumes, that is tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. So this is basically about respiratory volumes. Let's move on to the exchange of gases, which is the main part of respiration.